Hi, welcome back. Well, you could build your Deviant as Defiant, the Ring Brothers car, and I've had it like this for quite a few years, and of course it looks pretty good. But what if you want to do something else with it, but you still want a cool custom car? Well, I found this. Now this is Lee Badger's 1974 Javelin. I've put a link below so you can read all about the car. But a very brief summary is he bought it straight out of high school, and that sounds a lot cooler than the Mini 1000 with 38 horsepower that I had. He sold it later to pay for its education, bought back what was left of it 30 years later, and then had it turned into this custom masterpiece. Now I think that after all the love, the care, and of course the money that has gone into this in real life, the least we can do is make our own digital version. Okay, to customise now, apologies if there's any keyboard noises whilst I do this, but armour of course to 100, always do that if you're going to drive it. Brakes are up to you. Front bumper, well this is an interesting one. I see two or three choices. I have plastic splitter. I just find that the size is about right. The shape isn't perfect because the perfect one does not exist in the game. If you wanted it slightly bigger you can go with plastic extended. If you wanted to reference the little winglets on the side, you could go for this carbon splitters. Now this is really just a black version of Defiant's splitter. I can see why you might go for it. I found it a little over the top. So plastic splitter for me. Rear bumpers, there is no choice. It's simply this primary bumper that is absolutely perfect. Engine of course, please put it to stage 4. Now for the exhaust, I can't see the exhaust on Lee's car on the pictures. I think it's probably one of those ones that's underneath, but what we do have are the vents in front of the rear wheel. Well, the square exhausts here are sort of the same size, shape and position, sort of. I think they quite neatly reference the vents on Lee's car, so I think they're the best option. So that's square, dual side. On the grille, we can't do much about the chrome around the outside that we don't want. It's on all of them, and given that, I think the 7 slat grille is the closest. As we go down, I can't find anything else that works as well as that one, so that's the lot there. So 7 slat grille. Onto the hood. Well, this little inlet here helps reference the one that is on Lee's car, but of course Lee doesn't have a massive cowl hood on. He has a very unique hood. We can't replicate it, and I think you'll agree if we go down there is nothing that's any better than the stock hood, and some of the options are worse. So stock hood for that. As for the lights, up to you really. These look like a retrofitted xenon type light, so you could really go stock, which is what I think I have. You could go xenon or you could go car meat. For the livery, this one, the yellow pinstripe, I think works very well. It helps at least to echo the ghosted in slightly more orange livery that is on Lee's car. It also goes quite well with the pearlescent that we have. While we're looking at the liveries, I should mention that Runner Unknown has a really good racing build for this, and if you prefer to build a race car to more of a custom car, then you'll definitely want to take a look at their video, and the link to that little garage tour that includes that car is down below, and it's this Arrow gasoline livery that is used for that build. Well worth taking a look at. Overall, I do like the selection of liveries they provide with this. I suggest the black plate just to hide it there into the panel. Now for the respray, primary colour is of course a crew colour, and the hex for that is now on your screen. I'll put it in the description. I think this has worked really well. It's pretty much bang on. I'm very pleased with it. And for the pearlescent, I've gone for dew yellow. Of course you can have a little play with some of the other pearlescents, I think mainly in the orange and yellow section if you want to slightly refine it, but I think dew yellow works really well. Now if you can't access crew colours, firstly I'll put a video down below. You can access crew colours. You can have your own one-person crew while still being in your main crew, but if you don't want to do that, you could look at something like lime green. We'll look at it now. This should retain the pearl, but unfortunately it's not going to be the same. There we go. There's lime green, and it is. Oh, it's a bit limier. You could use a different pearl, of course, than the one we have on there, but ultimately, try and go for the crew colour. Secondary is chrome, and that's obviously for the bumpers, etc. And inside, we're going frost white, which comes out as a sort of light grey, because you can see the seats on Lee's are light grey. For the roof, livery roof, because the other two are black. We don't want a spoiler, and if you select none, you get a spoiler. Handily though, roof lip is no spoiler, it's just a tiny gap here, so that works great. There's actually a nice selection though of lip spoilers, ducktail spoilers and drag wings on this car, which is pretty good. Suspension, well, Lee's is slammed is the only way of putting it. We can't slam it quite as far, so we'll stay with race suspension. If you're doing other builds, note that is the highest that you can get out of the car. Transmission and turbo are up to you. Now wheels, I spent quite a long time looking through. I think you really have a choice of, well, a choice of one. This wheel here is very, very close, and this is from the street category. It's called Deep Flake. If you have a look at the shape inside here and the sharpness on the end of it, that pretty well matches. And if you look at the profile where it comes out here and back in, that pretty much matches. We do have an extra sort of bit of a lip around the outside of the wheel, which the other one doesn't have, but I think in GTA terms this one is incredibly close. I think it works really well. There's also Cosmo Mark III that you might think of, but when you really look you get the extra lips and round shapes inside here, so we'll stay with Deep Flake for that. It's also very low profile, which is great. Don't forget your bulletproof tyres, because you'll be very sad when you get shot. And that's it. Lee's car does not have any tinted glass, so you shouldn't be putting any on. And that is your build complete. Oh look, I've got a Vauxhall Corsa I have to modify. Well, there you have it, one gorgeous piece of automotive art. I enjoyed building Lee's car, but you know what I would enjoy even more? If somebody down below gave me something to build. Either give me a GTA car and just say, build what you can, or indeed pick a very specific car that you'd like me to try to replicate, and I'll do my best. That would be even more fun. By the way, there is a slight fly in the ointment to the build we just did, in that the Deviant is another one of the discontinued cars. So if you don't have one already, by all means put a comment below saying, I really want a Deviant, because I keep a note of people who've put those sort of comments in, and then I will reply to that comment later if I see that come up for sale, and that way you'll have a little reminder. As always, if you enjoyed it or were inspired by it, please do leave a like, I'd appreciate that. If you like real cars in GTA, a sub of course. But above all, because without you the channel would be literally nothing, thank you so much for watching.